policy review question.
Right.
Get that
But I
clarified.
think there's an inconsistent application.
Well, and I think too is maybe it's partly defined based on like Dixie, if she's doing in-valley travel or in-county, you know, she's going to look at things. That's
Right.
maybe a different aspect. I don't know.
I don't
And
either.
I don't know if there's an actual written policy,
I don't think.
but I do
That's
know
what I need to
that
find
that
out.
is a practice.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, other departments, like if you have a meeting in Alamosa, I'm going to say that other departments, I want to, in my brain, I'm thinking about Jody or any of those that I don't think
I
they're
don't
ever
have any idea.
reimbursed.
And I have no idea what we were doing in public health. I don't know what.
Let me take a look at that collectively, and if your intention is that her contract reflect whatever the general practice is for employees, we'll change that wording in the contract to be that.
Okay. So we
That
got
was what we talked about the other day.
And that's the way it was described when I talked to Leslie.
Okay.
We had talked about, we talked about numbers,
Mhm.
the sense, but we talked about it in the sense that this is what we do now. So that's the same thing as what you're
Okay.
saying. The current
I
policy.
think that's probably easily understood, and we can make that change.
So we have a motion that we approve the contract with the clarified mileage policy in there. Is that what your basically your motion
Yes.
is? We have a second?
Second,
We've got a second. Okay. Is there any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. There we go. Okay. Under general business, is there anything else that anybody has, it's something they want to talk about right now? Otherwise, I'll give a quick update on public health. I've already given most of it, conversation during.
Do we need to close the doors?
Okay, there's nothing secret. You're aware that they've got a new dial, which includes purple. Okay, wasn't very original. California had already done it, and we did a Me Too on it, I think. But we are going to have a conversation with CDPHE on Friday. Dr. Vancouver's position is, or not his position, his perception is the state is trying to just shove people into red. Okay, and we saw that list of counties. I think SWORD put out the counties that have gone red yesterday. Adams, Jefferson, Arapahoe, Denver, you go through the list, and La Plata. Over here on the other side of the
They
mountain.
pushed La Plata into it?
That's what I read. So shoved into red, which does 10% capacities and things of that nature. They're trying to push us into Owings. We're only over on one metric right now, and that's the, I forget what they call incidence rate per 100,000. Okay. So we're having that conversation with CDPHE on the phone on Wednesday, and they're paying, my words are, they're paying lip service to talking to the county commissioners and involving us in the decision, but the decision's probably already been made. But I told Dr. Vancouver, I said, I don't want to just roll over and play dead on this. If we have an issue with what they're proposing, we need to voice that issue in that call and tell them we don't like it.
No.
And I tried to, so there's that. I said, we need more detailed information on our cases. Not just general North Valley, South Valley, whatever kind of stuff, specific stuff where we can start seeing if there's connections. Well, there really are no connections. It's, you know, I said, well, I think the connection may be other counties. If we really look at it, I suspect a good percentage of our cases are coming in, they're being imported. And it makes no sense for us to go to 25% capacity in one of our restaurants because the problem occurred over there. And we're quick to recognize and respond to cases that we have in our valley. We isolate people. Well, there's the lead time. There's all this. And they might go to the restaurant, you know, all the speculative stuff that we hear. And I said, so then I said to him, so we can go to 25% capacity or 50 people, whichever is less. If we go to this orange thing. I said, if you have a great big restaurant, and they can hold 200 people, 25% would be 50. Okay. So why are we even talking percentages when we get down to little restaurants and they can only hold 10, now you can hold 2.5? You know, and I said, where's the science on this working? I said, we're not hearing of infections in restaurants, and we never have through any of this. What is the incident rate in churches? What's the incident rate in hair salons? I said, we're not getting the information saying this came from a hair salon, this came from a restaurant, or it came from John coming back from Arizona. I said, we're not getting that kind of information. And so we accept a solution, a fix that's not even relevant to the problem. I said, I want to hear from CDPHE. We don't care. You have to do what we say. I said, I want to hear that come out of their mouth. And I says, and then we'll tell the papers. But I said,
That was my question for you. So good. Okay.
you know, I want to push back on this and get relevant answers. And I said, I really do want to find out if this mask is better than that mask. I want to hear somebody tell me officially. I don't want to read it on the internet, anything else. I don't know. I got this from Prevention Partners. Okay. Kind of femmy, but I wear it anyhow. I said, give us hard data as hard as you can. I understand you can't get it 100%. I said, but not being able to get 100% doesn't mean you don't try at all. And get us some information we can use. And I said, we are the ones that are out talking to the public. Whether you're talking to your preacher calls you about your church. Okay. Same thing happens to all of us. I said, we're hearing it. We're out there with the masses. I said, you're sitting in your public health bubble. And I said, I can refer some people to you. But I said, we need help on this. We want to work with you, but we can't do it if we just have to accept without question whatever the solution of the day happens to be. And I said, so let's work together on this. We'll find out. That's kind of my philosophy now. It's kind of a show me.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
It's the same conversation we had with the AG's office over the opioid thing.
really.
And Heidi Williams called me from up there and she said, I want to talk to you privately.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh, why am I get you that because of my smart mouth? And she called. We had a good long conversation over the opioid thing. And I just told her the truth. I said, we are tired of the great state of Denver telling us what we have to do when we have a completely different lifestyle, completely different demands.
Right.
You know, and it's ridiculous.
And we have to drive 20 miles to get our illegal drugs.
Yeah. We can't just go to the corner like you guys do.
Well, I think too is what I've noticed is that we're seeing things happen, but we don't have the information first. And yesterday there was that article in the paper
Which
that
just
showed up and then it disappeared. It was a newspaper article that showed up on the website.
Can I
And
tell you where that came from?
where'd that come from?
I worked all day long trying to find this out, and I found it out by accident. There was a meeting, it was an open meeting, and Jackie Stevens was in that meeting. And Jackie Stevens had made the comment that if something about that, and the paper picked up on it, and that's where it came from.
Except now she was quoting the paper. She was quoting the article.
Not according to what I was told last night in that conversation.
No, that's what it was. Because
well,
I was
it
at
was
that
a
meeting.
circular thing, but Lindsay called me and asked me if we were orange. I said, no.
I saw the article on night before last, Monday night.
Really?
And then that meeting with Jackie was yesterday. But I saw the article showed up on the internet last night, and it was a long article. And it said Rio Grande County's gone to orange. And I'm thinking, I was somewhat bewildered and irritated that I had no knowledge of this. And so I was just like, and then I went to look for it yesterday morning and it was gone.
Right.
Or yesterday afternoon, whenever it was. But apparently Jackie's statement was that she had read that article.
I don't know where.
And in that article, it said that essentially, and it went away, and so I couldn't go
Okay,
back and double check
so
it.
how, if that's the case, then
It was an
how do-
article written by Lindsay.
I know where it came from, it came from Lindsay. I know that. What I want to know is who gave that article to Lindsay.
It wasn't us. And I don't know if she talked to Dr. Van Coley and misunderstood him or not, but she called me and asked me after the dust up yesterday morning, are we orange? No. Oh, this thing showed up on Facebook, which may be the Facebook page for the paper. I don't know. 'Cause I don't do
Is
that.
it showed up on Monte Vista Journal?
Okay. And so she said, anyhow, she's pulling the article. She said, I'll call him and tell him. I said, yeah, it's not true. And I said, we're not doing anything till Friday.
Well, I'll tell you how bad it was. I get to the landfill meeting and the first question Darius asked me when we all got to sit down around the table was, so you guys are orange now too, huh? I said, no. And Dixie was sitting across from me. Dixie says, yes, we are. I said, no, we're not. I said, John and Suzanne and I have not talked about this. So I guarantee you, we haven't made a decision to go orange unless the state did something, but it's nothing there. And she was telling me that she had heard the same thing. That's when I got thinking, well, I'd already heard it twice before I got out of town to go to that meeting. You know? I mean, people are concerned. That to boogies, that's a big deal.
And
You know?
is
Huge,
that
50 to 25%. Yeah.
that we still have to recognize it even if the state says it, don't we? Or can the state do that without our
The
permission?
state can kind of do it, but that's when they start moving into gray area stuff. And so as I was talking to Dr. Bankula last night, I said, look, we don't have the enforcement capacity, nor do our enforcement agents have the will to enforce this. But I said, the only enforcement that can be done out there is the state licensing procedures for these businesses. I said, that's the only tool they have. So the restaurants, the bars, the hair salons, anybody that has to have a state license to operate, I said, that's where the teeth is. I said, if you notice, even in the red or the purple, churches, the word is should. It's not will. I said, they're operating in a very gray area right now. And I said, our job is to encourage people to take proper precautions. Period. And work with them. I said, but if we come in heavy-handed and we're going to beat you over the head with it, it's not going to work.
Well, that's why I wasn't offended when I had people call me up and say, well, I'm not the mask patrol. Neither am I. I'm just telling you, this is what the state says, and you should follow the directions, but we're not making you do it.
If you had any decency as a human, you would know.
Yeah. If you were a sort of says, sorry.
But that's kind of where we are. I see we're being videoed today. But the public health thing is this: they're pushing us to orange, trying to push to red. We need to push back to see if we can't carve out some reasonable exceptions for us if we can. In the meantime, where we run across what is a clear violation of the intent of the rules, having sign on the door, that kind of thing. If you know the people, a gentle reminder, like, guys, help us out. Let's work together on this, because if we don't play, then we're gonna have to deal with the higher authorities. It's just not worth it. And the case count's going up. I just sent out the deal today, but I haven't had a chance to look at it.
47. We lost, we're dropping at 15 drop off, and then picked a few back up.
And so we're probably getting to that point where the curve is starting to flatten for us a little bit in terms of new versus old. Probably be staying there, probably drop off. That seems to be the pattern anyhow, it's up and down way. But in any event, the state is pushing hard, and we're gonna have this conversation Friday. And hopefully we can delay implementation until, whatever it is, until next week. That's it. And you've been talking to Heidi Williams about the opioid thing. That's all I have. Do you guys have anything else?
I wasn't making an accusation against Jackie because I didn't have that conversation with her. I was told that it came out in a meeting, and she could have been just repeating it like you said, but I don't know. That's just what I was told, so.
Well, I don't know where the information started, or misinformation in this case, wrong information. But anyhow, it was out there. We've tried to correct people's perceptions on it. So for those that are watching Rio Grande Seer, right now, as of this minute, the county is not on orange, we're still in yellow. And we'll know more Friday. Anything else? Unless you guys want to stick around.
I have nothing, and I move we adjourn.
Okay, you got a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Let's talk about it. No, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're adjourned. Punch us out.